Hey guys, so we're doing the speed and performance test here between the Google Pixel phone and the Xperia XZ. A lot of people requesting this from Sony, so we're going to check it out here and start them up at the same time. And I've just done a freeze test with the XZ and basically it's had no issues, so that's pretty awesome. I wouldn't be so comfortable doing it with the Pixel, although I think it does have a bit of IP protection. We do have full IP68 though with the Sony, which is nice. Is Sony going to be faster than someone this year? That would... Oh no. You see, I thought Sony would actually be faster there than the Pixel. That would be like a first. But Sony's always behind when it comes to startup. You know, I don't know why it takes so long. But, you know, we'll give it a pass. It is a Sony. So we're going to carry on here and have a look at the performance. So you can see everything's closed down and up to date. So we'll just start off with the basic apps. So that was very slow on the Sony to go into the dialer, but maybe it takes some time to get those cogs churning. We are going to have a look here. So far it looks like the Pixel is a little bit ahead on most things. Camera as well. And clock, you can see. So yeah, I think the Pixel is a little bit ahead here than Sony boy when it comes to these things. Quite similar when it comes to that. And let's try the inbuilt apps, music. So we do have the photos and album. So I think the Pixel there, but still pretty good on both of them. I think Pixel was probably a little bit faster though for most of those starting up apps. We noticed the same thing with the Xperia Z5 when it first came out. It was very slow on certain things, but maybe a software update will, you know, solve that issue. We're going to have a look at the games and see if there's any differences here. So we'll just start a new game here. Ooh, Sony. That's promising. So Sony for the win that time. We do have another game as well we could try, such as the other GTA. No, we don't have the other GTA. We do have Modern Combat though. Oh, again. Sony. Wow. So it might have had its coffee now. He told you it takes a while to get those cogs churning with Sony, but when they do start churning, you know, it is like a big Russian destroyer sailing past your island. And let's have a look at Need for Speed. Again, we think we do have again, Sony boy. So definitely going to give it here to the Sony when it comes to the game loading, which is very good. You know, I wasn't expecting this. So just make sure it goes into the game. Yeah. So you can see, you know, quite conclusive there. But in terms of the apps, you know, still Pixel did very well. So probably going to give that one a draw, to be fair. We're going to have a look at some web browsing here, so we can just see, you know, if there's any differences. So we'll just start with BBC and go. Let's go. Go. So very similar here, you know, they're both loading the content about the same. I can certainly see a difference in terms of the screens here. I think I actually prefer the Sony screen, and I'm being honest here because to me the colors look much more kind of like accurate from this angle. Whoops, let's try that again. Android Authority, go. But I guess screen is a matter of preference, I guess, really. Sony again taking it here. Pixel seems to be very slow when it comes to the web browsing. Seems to have lost every single round here, which is weird. But it seems to be loading the ad a little bit faster with this one, which is good. And we do have one more, so GSM Arena. GSM. Let's go. Oh, Pixel came back there, which is nice. But again, the advert loading a bit faster on the Sony boy. I'm just going to do one more because I can't really decide here. Kotaku. Oh, Pixel again. So maybe the Pixel is starting to come back here towards the end. But then again, you know, it's a bit back and forth. So maybe the Pixel there towards the end, you know, I was slagging it off, but it certainly came back. So we're going to have a look at the multitasking here and see if there's any differences. And I've not seen too good performance here from the XZ when it comes to the multitasking. I think Sony definitely needs to work some things out. It does only come with 3 gigs of RAM, which is, you know, a little bit low for a flagship phone. But you can see they're both actually like reloading about the same here. You know, I wouldn't expect reloading on the Pixel, given that it has more RAM. But once you use it enough, you can see it starts to reload here. But it's kept that in memory, and Sony did reload. So you can see here, this is quite conclusive. The Pixel is better when it comes to multitasking, this one, at the moment, unfortunately for Sony fans. What about the games? We're going to have a look at that. Oh, so they both reloaded the game. That's not what I want to see. Modern Combat 5. Wow, pitiful memory management here. And these are supposed to be flagship phones, you know. What else do we have? Need for Speed again. So, you know, you can see here in terms of real world performance, pretty bad for the multitasking. But in terms of the other stuff, you know, you can see the Pixel is quite competitive here against the Sony. Probably more competitive than against the other phones I've tested against. We're going to show a quick little speed test here. As I said, I'll do a Geekbench video, you know, comparing all of them at the same time, because Geekbench is quite a boring test nowadays. So we're just going to have a look at the Sony here. I still love the Sony, by the way, even though the performance may not be that as good as it could be. I think it's still the best and most refined Sony you can buy right now. It's just a shame that Sony doesn't seem to like take all the markets seriously. You know, we're not putting the fingerprint scanner on in some markets and things like that. Or they could easily be onto a win. What can the Pixel do? You can see, oh, no, it can't best the Sony in this test, which is strange because it did very well in the last test. So Sony got a little win there towards the end, and we're going to give it a test again because I've seen it do better. Can it do better? Can it do better? Can it do better? Oh, yes, it can. You see, I told you. And that is why I do sometimes do double test, just to make sure, you know. I'm not doing another test on a Sony because Sony's disappointed me in this test. But nevertheless, you know, you can see here we do have some other things you can consider. Such as, you know, you're getting a slightly bigger screen with the Sony. You're also getting a physical shutter button for the camera. You're also getting full waterproofing and freeze proofing based upon my testing, and the front facing stereo speakers, which are very nice. In terms of the screen, as I said, you know, I think the colours are a little bit more accurate on the Sony, looking at it from an angle here, but maybe looking head on you won't see too much difference really. So yeah, you know, very nice phones indeed. I will be doing some, you know, more comparisons of looking at the benchmark and the gaming, etc. So do stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed the video here, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.